Om Jnana Timirandhasya Jnanam Jana Shalakaya Chakshur Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha.
In English now, discussion of the glories of Lord Ramachandra Bhagavan. At the basis of India's spiritual culture are the narrations of especially Ramayana, Mahabharata and Srimad Bhagavatam. Ram Bhakti is inseparable part of life in spiritual India. Now India is trying to be less spiritual, but traditionally India has always been a country who now they say Mera Bharat Mahan, my India is great. But previously people didn't even used to think I am Indian or Garv se kaho am Hindu hai. People say with pride I am a Hindu. But previously there was no such conception of India nationalism or I'm a Hindu. But simply people were more interested in spiritual life than material life, and all these designations, I'm a Hindu, I'm an Indian, it wasn't that. Simply people were interested in Ram Katha, Krishna Katha, and their lives centered around this. Nowadays things are different, but as Srila Prabhupada commented in a purport to the 9th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, in the discussion of Ram Leela, that even now in Kali Yuga, by chanting the names of Krishna, Rama and Hari, all the wonderful symptoms of Ram Rajya, the reign of Lord Ram, can again become present. During the reign of Lord Ram, people, they did not know hunger or thirst or tiredness. There was complete peace and goodwill and cooperation among all living beings. Even though it was in Treta Yuga, during the reign of Lord Ram, at least within his kingdom. What was the name of his kingdom? Any other suggestions? Ayodhya was the capital city, no? Anyone know? Koshala. So within his kingdom, it was like Satyayuga, although there are plenty of demons outside. But Ayodhya, what does Ayodhya mean? Anyone know? It means not possible to be overcome by weapons, unassailable. It's a completely safe city, because even before Lord Ram was there, so many great kings, and the name of the city was Ayodhya. So Ram, Raja, what did you do? It was already echoing, but it's worse now. Why don't you make it better? Turn it down. Ram Raja can be brought back in Kali Yuga by the chanting. good conditions in human society can come. As is stated in Srimad Bhagavatam, Kaling Sabhajantyarya Gunagya Sarabhagina Yatra Sankirtananeva Sarva Swartho Vilapyate. People who are very sharp, very intelligent in understanding the essential principles, they glorify Kali Yuga. Because in Kali Yuga, simply by Sankirtan, all desirable things can be attained. So Ram has for centuries throughout India been the ideal for men to shape their behavior and their lives on. And Sita Devi has been the ideal for women. Therefore, young unmarried girls in Bengal used to say, Sitar moto patni hobo, Rame moton pati pabo. I'll be a chaste wife like Sita, and I will attain a husband with the qualities of Lord Ram. That was desired. Even recently, maybe about 20 years ago, they first put this Ramayana serial on TV. This was the first time in many years at that time TV meant Doordarshan only. And this was the first time in many years that they'd put anything, I think probably in the history of India, that they'd put anything religious on TV. And it came on every Sunday, and it was the response. The human being had, people were just no one could imagine what kind of response, that practically all of India shut down for 1 hour every Sunday morning during that time. And the ladies would have all the puja paraphernalia ready, and they'd be ready to offer the arati. I was in Orissa during this time, and you see that the ladies would be ready to offer arati to Lord Ram everywhere, all over India. The natural response. Prabhupada often said that although there's so much propaganda to make Indian people materialistic, actually people in India, they want Ram Bhakti, they want Krishna Bhakti. So that spirit is still there. What happened though, this actress who was acting the role of Sita, that wherever she went, the people wanted to treat her like Sita, but she's an actress, she's a prostitute, in other words. So she didn't like that at all. She wanted to wear short skirts and dress up like a typical prostitute, which is the norm in India nowadays also, unfortunately. And all young girls, they like to make themselves unchaste. They're more like Shurpanaka than Sita. So, but that tendency is there. People want to be religious. They want to worship Ram. They want to worship Krishna. So in Indian culture, this Ram Bhakti, Krishna Bhakti in various forms. In South India there's more worship of the Lord as Narayana. And in Andhra Pradesh the Nrsimha worship is also quite popular. And throughout India also worship of Lord Shiva and his wife, who is known by many different names. Mother, Mataji, Devi, Parvati, Amba. So that's also very popular. So this Ram Bhakti, this is the life of one of the main threads of Indian culture. And especially in North India, one British man, he wrote that he was in India, and he said throughout the whole of North India, everyone knows the whole Ramcharitmanas by heart. Everyone, they heard it. Even most people couldn't read or write, but they heard it so many times. They just go on hearing and hearing, and then they know. And in their ordinary conversation, they'll be quoting it. Their whole life absorbed in thoughts of Lord Ram. So even now, people have such feeling that they want to build the temple of Lord Ram at the Janmastan in Ayodhya. Of course, they're questioning whether or not there should be a temple. Of course, there should be a temple for Lord Ram at his Janmastan. Actually, that's stated in Chaitanya Bhagavat that Nityananda Prabhu, he visited Ayodhya and he visited Ram Janmastan. They're saying they want some. What's the evidence there was originally a temple? The evidence that there was a temple there is Babri Masjid, because it was deliberately built on the site of Ram Janmastan to make the Hindus feel upset. So that is the evidence that it is Ram Janmastan. In the oral tradition, that's known as Ram Janmastan. And the Muslims had the habit of demolishing temples that were very dear to the Hindus and building mosques on the site. So the evidence that that is Ram Janmastan is the verbal record plus Babri Masjid, which those of you who are living in India know what happened to Babri Masjid. So the Ram Janmastan, even if it's not, they're saying what's the evidence, even if it's not exactly the site of the Janmastan, it's considered as such. The sentiment is there. So that should be honored. There should be a temple of Lord Ram at Ayodhya, just like the Muslims have their spot at Makkah. And in Jerusalem there's religious sites, so it's very dear. They're trying to argue legally over whether or not there should be Ram Janmastan temple built there, but whatever legal arguments may be, they should understand that this is very dear to the bhaktas of Lord Ram, so much so that many of them, they're willing to give their lives for that. Just like the monkeys, they gave their lives for Lord Ram. So, on the appearance days of the different avatars, among whom Ram is certainly one of the most prominent, especially Ram, in Shastra it said that Ram, Krishna and Nrsimhadev, these in the Shastras quoted by the Sri Vaishnavas, who consider Vishnu to be or Narayan to be the original form. They say that these three forms are more special. They deliver more living beings, and in our Gaur, even that. So we have special worship of Nrsimhadev, but especially Rama, Krishna, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. They delivered many jivas. So we have the six-armed form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, as shown to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. That is the form of Krishna, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Ram. Don't put the book on your mouth, please. So we can remember the glories of Lord Ram by reciting his pastimes. And apart from those in Ramayana, there are many other pastimes in other Puranas also. Especially the one very famous narration, not in the Ramayana, but in the Puranas, is that of Mahiravan, the brother of Ravana, named Mahiravan. That's more clarification of Hanuman. Hanuman saved Ram and Lakshmana. And there are many others we're hearing in oral tradition. Dinabandhu Prabhu has been telling us. Because Ram Chandra Bhagavan, by his Leela, he had to wander throughout so much of India. So we'll find so many holy places of Lord Ram, connected with Lord Ram, all over India. Not only Ayodhya, but there in Setubandha, beyond Rameshwaram. And then we have Nasik, is very famous. What for? Nasik. How did that name come? Nas Katnase. And so they say, cutting the nose of Shurpanaka. So Remuna, that's also connected with Lord Ram. That's the famous place of Kirchor Gopinath. So that Kirchor Gopinath was made by who? Anyone remember? I put the story in that new book. That deity is made by Madhavendra Puri. No. That deity was made by Lord Ram. As Lord Ram and Sita Devi were staying there for some time and hearing the sounds of the cows and the cowherd boys playing their flutes, Lord Ram was laughing very happily, and when Sita Devi asked him, "Why are you laughing all of a sudden?" He said, "Because I'm reminded of my Gopal Lila." And Sita said, "What? I don't know about that. What's that all about?" So then Lord Ram told her, and with his arrow from a stone he made the deity of Gopinath, who later was found out to be a thief, known as Kirchor, stealer. Actually it's all his anyway, but then they take it away. When they offer the prasad and then they take it away, but he kept it with him, so he's known as a thief. So there's so many pastimes of Lord Rama. On these appearance days of the Lord, we like to remember the Nam, Gun, Roop, Leela, Parika, Vaishishta of the particular form. Nam means name, Roop means form, Gun means qualities, Leela means pastimes, Parika means associates, Vaishishta means to that of the Lord we like to remember. So actually all these can be remembered by remembering the names of the Lord. That's why one reason why Nam Bhajan is so important, because the name of the Lord is non-different from the name, all Nam, Gun, Roop, Lila, they're all non-different from the Lord. But by remembering the different names of the Lord, then whatever we've heard about Him, we can remember again. Just like when we say Yashamati Nandana, then we immediately, here we remember Yashamati Nandan Prabhu, who has just appeared in the doorway. But actually Yashamati Nandana means, what does it mean? The darling of Mother Yashoda. So when we hear that name, we think of Krishna in his relationship with Yashamati, Mother Yashoda. So in the same way, by remembering the names of Lord Ram, then we can remember his Gun, Roop, Leela, Dham, Parika, Vaishishta, ityadi. So now you can all help me, and we can all have a little transcendental, not exactly a quiz, but we can ask you, you please tell us, you can all one by one, don't shout them out all at once. You can raise your hand and first of all, what does the name Ram mean? That's a good one. Rama. Peaceful? Well, I mean, each name may have some particular, many meanings. But what's the principal meaning of the name Ram? Pleasure potency. He's not the pleasure potency. Pleasure potency is Radharani. Yeah, Rama means pleasing. Ramante yogino nante satyananda chiratmani iti Rama padena so param brahma vidhiyate. This verse states that the yogis, they take pleasure, unlimited pleasure, Ramante yogino nante, in that transcendental person who is the genuine, who is genuine pleasure. That person is known as Rama, and he is the supreme absolute truth. So some other names of Rama. Hand up. Anyone knows any other names? There's so many names. Yes, please. Sarangapani. You're from South India? Yes. Very famous name in South India. Meaning? Who's holding the bow and arrows? Sarangapani. Another famous name of Lord Ram in Tamil Nadu means who's got the bow. Kodandaram. Kodandaram. There are many temples. Kodandaram. In Karnataka also, I don't think so. In Tamil Nadu, Kodandaram is very famous. Kodanda means the bow. Who's holding the bow? Then some other names. Hands up. Raghava. Raghava means descendant of Raghu. Yes, descendant in the Raghu dynasty. Then, any more? Lady? Sitapati means the husband of Mother Sita. You run out already? Come on, there are so many other names. Raghunandan. Raghunandan means Raghu means forefather of Lord Rama. Nanda means, again, the darling or the delight. Just like the name, just like Ananda, Nanda, Nandan. It all means the same, pleasure. So who gives pleasure to Raghu and his descendants, or the darling child of the Raghu dynasty. Then Dasharati, yes. Means the son of Dasharat. What was his mother's name? Okay, so another name based on that? Kaushalyananda. Means who is the darling child of Mother Kaushalya. Then you have a big Pandit sitting over there. Ravanantaka. Means the killer of Ravana. Dashamukha Moli Maling Ramaniyam. He took his 10 heads, and there are 10 directions 8 this way and 1 up and 1 down, and they're the presiding deities. Here, 1 for you, 1 for you, 1 for you. Distributed. 1 up there, 1 down there, east, west, north, south, distributed the heads. Killer of Ravana. Then Ramachandra. It means Rama, who is compared to the moon. So the moon is very pleasing. Which dynasty did Rama appear in? There are 2 Kshatriya dynasties. One is Soma Vangsha, and the other is Surya Vangsha. So which one did Lord Rama appear in? Surya Vangsha. And Krishna appeared in Chandra Vangsha, Soma Vangsha. So Rama is also Surya Vamshi. Then Raghupati. Means the Lord of Raghu. Even though he's a descendant of him, he's still the Pati of all living beings. Then Raghu Kula Tilak. That's a very nice name. Tell what it means. What does tilak mean? It means something which is very prominent. You can see tilak. So who's on top of, or the very prominent member of the Raghu Kul, the dynasty of Raghu? Maryada Purushottam means you know the name, but you don't know what it means. You can explain in Hindi or Bengali if you have trouble with English. Janen, in Amer Arthoki. You know Bengali? You're Bengali, no? From Orissa. Alright. So, Maryada Purushottam. He is the Purushottam means, everyone in Orissa should know. Purushottam Ketra is Puridham. So Purushottam means the supreme personality of Godhead. So he appears in various forms. We say that Aishvarya Purushottam is Bhagavan Narayan, Vishnu. And Leela Purushottam or Prem Purushottam is Krishna. And Maryada Purushottam means the Supreme Lord who established the proper principles of human behavior. Maryada means giving proper respect. So Lord Ram is the emblem of that, how he respected his elders, he fulfilled the promise of his father even at great personal suffering. He upheld the promise of his father. He remained respectful to Kaikeyi, even though she had put him into so much difficulty. He maintained the honor of his family by killing Ravana and rescuing Sita. So he showed the ideal of how to interact with others, how to give respect to others. So, some more names? Pashupati? Yeah, can be. That name's generally associated with Lord Shiva. Krishna is also known as Pashupati. Lord Rama can also be, because he's assisted by so many monkeys. Can also be Pashupati. Then? Now who's saying? I can't hear, I'm just hearing a sound. Where's it? Oh, hand up. Who said that? Lakshmanagraja. Very good. Means? What does it mean? Lakshman ke Jeshta Brata. Agraja means, Agra means before, and Ja means birth. So who is born before Lakshman? Elder brother of Lakshman. There's a very famous name of Lakshman in similar name in relation to Lord Ram, which is Ramanuja, who's born after Ram. What's the name of Rama's sister? We know the three brothers of Rama are very famous. What are their names? We just said one. Lakshman, Lakhan, Bharat and Shatrughna. What's his sister's name? Who knows? Who's reading Ramayana very carefully? Anyone? That's like the one. That's like saying, after reading all the Ramayana, I only have one question. Who was Sita the husband of? It means you completely misunderstood. Sita wasn't the husband of anyone. She's a woman. Now wait a minute. What did you say? That wasn't the name. No. Bhagwan Ramchandra ki ben ka kya naam? Ye prashna chal raha hai. Shanta, very good. Shanta. It's described in the beginning of Ramayana that Maharaj Romapad lived in a kingdom adjacent to that of Maharaj Dasharath. But he had no children, so Maharaj Dasharath gave him his daughter, who was named Shanta. He was thinking he'd get many more children, but Maharaj Dasharath himself didn't get more children until much later. So she was already married before Ram was born. Who was she married to? Anyone? You might know. Someone with horns. Rishi Ashwin. Yeah. Then, what are you going to say? Ahalya Taran. See, now we're reminded of the Leelas, isn't it? One of the famous Leelas of Lord Ramachandra is delivering Ahalya, who was the wife of Gautam. So, she was cursed to become stone. But then when Ram came, he delivered her. So he's known as Ahalya Taran, which means the deliverer of Ahalya. Then, anyone else? Chakrapani. Well, could be. That's more a name of Lord Vishnu, isn't it? Lord Ram is... Yeah, but he's more... Sudarshan Chakra is more connected with Vishnu. Shangapani. That you already said. Sarangapani. Seturam, who made a bridge. Patabiram is another Tamil. Actually, Patabi is a Tamil word. What does it mean actually? It means Lord, like that, is it? Patabi means?
Patabhisheram means coronation.
Oh, coronation, yeah. That means... That's a Tamil word, I think, isn't it? It's not Sanskrit. Then, that's another famous name in Tamil Nadu. Raja Ram. Very good. King Ram. Shri Ram. Very good. Shri means Lakshmi, Sita. So who's always with Sita, and Shri Ram also means opulent or respected. Rama. Janaki ji. I was just waiting. There are so many names connected with Janaki. Janaki means Sita. Why? She's the daughter of Janaki. Sita, the name Sita means who came from the plowed earth, and Janaki means the daughter of Janak. So Janaki Jivan means the life of Janaki. Then there are so many other names with Janaki. Janaki Vallabh. Vallabh means lover. Janaki Ram. Ram who belongs to Janaki. Then some more names. Lokabhirama means Hindi mein bolo. Yeah, but what does Abhiram mean? Jo sabko anand dete. Lokabhiram means who gives pleasure to all. Shrinu sukadam shubhadam bhavasara. By hearing about him, we become happy and obtain auspiciousness in this world of birth and death. Ayodhya Naresh. Okay, very good. Means the king. Naresh means the controller of the people. The king of Ayodhya. Rama Swami. Swami means master. So Ram, who's the boss. Another famous name in South India. There's one name of Ram I'm thinking of that's more famous in North India. Ram Avatar. That's straightforward. The Supreme Lord who has descended as Lord Ram. What about some names in relationship with Lord Shiva? Shivaram means Ram who's worshipped by or very dear to Lord Shiva. And just a second, wait a minute, we're still on Shivaram. And Shiva also means who's very auspicious. So Shiva. Kalyanaram means who's auspicious. Auspicious or who gives welfare to others. Kalyanam also means wedding ceremony. So Kalyanaram is specifically in relationship to his wedding ceremony. Then what we're saying, Ramalingam means Ramalinga, yeah, you could say that. But Linga also means form. So it means Ram, the very form of Rama, Ramalingam. We're getting all famous Tamil names here. So many famous names in Tamil Nadu for Lord Ram. Lord Ram is worshipped by Lord Shiva and is thus known as? There's another one, Rameshwar. Rama, who is the supreme controller. I was thinking of Shiva Aradhya, who is worshipped by Lord Shiva. So, any famous names in Bihar? Patit Pavan, Raghupati Raghava Raja Ram, Patita Pavana Sitaram. Bihar is what's presently Bihar, that's where, well, let's connect it with Sita Devi, that Mithila, North Bihar, is where Maithili, Sita Devi appeared. So, any more? Pada Setu, Bhava Setu, Pada Setu. Pada. Yeah. Baddha Setu. Alright. Yeah. That's your name. One who made a bridge. So what's so wonderful about that? There are so many bridges. Now in India they're building all flyovers everywhere in every city. What's so special about the bridge that Lord Ram made? Without pillar, and the stones are floating. That's pretty unusual, isn't it? You have any technology like that? The stones are floating, and this way but still Hanuman was more, because he just jumped. He didn't need a bridge. So Ram made Hanuman more, appear to be greater than him. Then some more names? Huh? I didn't hear that clearly. What's Raghuvir, there's another one. Raghuvir means? No, आपका नाम जो आप बोलते हैं वो क्या नाम है अच्छी तरह नहीं सुन. Raghuvir, हाँ. Oh, Raghuvamsh ke Veer, the hero of the Raghu dynasty. Another name connected with Raghu, many names are like that. Raghudva, one of the first godbrothers I knew in England, which means Raghunath, very common name. We didn't get that one yet. Who's the Lord of the Raghus. So that way we also have Sitanath. Which Swami? Hanuman Ka Swami. Well, we're going here for more traditional names. Raghu Sreshta. Narasreshta, Narottam. Yeah. Janakinath, Lord of Janaki. How about Ravanari? Actually, there are two names, Ravanari and Ravanari. Ravanari and Ravanari. So one means the enemy or the killer of Ravana. And what does the other one mean? The other name means the enemy or the killer of the sons of Ravana. What color is Lord Ram? Green, like a freshly grown grass, we're sometimes told. But then sometimes in Shastra it's also stated that he's Shama. Shama Varna. So it might depend on the light. If he's going through the forest, the dark forest, and there's no sunlight, he might appear like Shama. Otherwise, he's known as greenish. Anyone can think of any more names? Kodanda Bhanjan, who broke, what does it mean, tell? Okay, very good. Who broke what did he break? What's in his childhood, before he was married, Ramachandra broke something. Kodanda means he broke a bow. Which bow? Lord Shiva's bow. So then we can remember this Leela. I think this is also not in Valmiki Ramayana. It's a very famous story. How that bow of Lord Shiva was there. And it was just being worshipped because it was so powerful and strong that no ordinary human being could even touch it. It was so potent. And one day they saw that Sita, in her childhood, she has picked it up and was playing with it, which even an ordinary big powerful Kshatriya, he can't even touch it, can't pick it up, can't string it, anything like that. So, understanding her extraordinary potency, this child who had appeared from the earth, Janak Maharaj said that the only person who can marry her is one who can pick up and string this bow, because the husband should be more than the wife. That's the general understanding. So when Lord Ram came, he not only picked it up and strung it, but by his stringing it, he broke it. So therefore he is known as Kodanda Bhanjan, the breaker of the bow.
In the one place of Ramayana, how many people call Ramachandra like Sugriva Sakha?
Sugriva Sakha means friend of Sugriva. Who's Sugriva? Any ideas? King of the monkeys. Not Hanuman. Hanuman is not the king of the monkeys.
Lord Ramachandra helped to become king.
Helped him. Bali's brother. Well, what was Hanuman then? He wasn't the king. He was the prime minister. Very intelligent monkey.
Because in the Kishkinda was two brothers like Sugriv and Bali.
Right.
Lord Ramachandra helped.
And there was some misunderstanding between them. Very good. So we can all read Ram Leela and get to know him. You're reading in Russian, is it? That edition I made, I think that's the only one in Russian. Some other one. I heard some years ago, this was before the USSR became opened up, that the government issued some edition of Ramayana in Russian translation, and within 2-3 days, sold out. The Russian people, they have good interest in this. So we hope the Indians will also. Who's got Ramayana at home? Most of you don't have any home. All right. Well, if you don't have, then you should get a copy today. आपका घर में रामायण है? जिनके घर में नहीं है रामायण, तो आज ही लेना पड़ेगा. You should tell your children stories of Lord Ram. Just like Mother Yashoda used to tell Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Anyone else like to say anything else? If not, then Hare Rama. Hare Rama bol ke is Chota sa pravachan ka viram dektam. We're finishing this, putting an end. Viram. Veera Ram, there's one more name. Veera Ram, Hero Ram. Virendra Ram. Viram, the end. Full stop. Hare Krishna. There's no end. But we also have to, most of us have more chanting of Hare Ram. Is it? We all have to chant Hare Ram every day, and many of us didn't complete our chanting of Hare Ram. So we should go and chant Hare Ram, Hare Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Rama Premanande, Hari Hari Bol.